Hi, I'm Jason, and today I wanted to show you one method for making your own emergency fire starting material. I've experimented a lot with different types of homemade and commercially available fire starting materials, but to me, buying a fire starting material is kind of like burning money. It's just something you're going to set on fire, and there's really no need for it when you can make something that's just as effective with things that you probably already have laying around the house. So one I really like is called Char cloth. Char cloth is basically nothing more than cotton that has been heated up until it turns black. And once it does this, it takes a spark very, very well. It's very light, and like I said before, you already have probably some old t-shirts or something that are ready to be retired that you can cut up and make into char cloth. So basically today what I'm going to show you is how to make the char cloth, and then how to make a small fire starting kit with a flint steel and a waterproof bag and some char cloth that will probably only take about 15 minutes of your time, and is something you can do probably today if you wanted to, because you already have all the tools and materials you need.
Okay, here's what you'll need. A canister stove. This one's a Snow Peak Gigapower, but you can use any canister stove for this. A tin that you're going to put the cotton pieces into and heat up. This one's an Altoids tin, a round Altoids tin. You can see this one's blackened because I've used it a few times just to experiment before I made this video. And then an awl, or any sharp object, to punch a hole, small hole in the top of the tin. You can use a nail if you don't have an awl, or basically anything that'll make a hole in this tin will work. A pair of scissors, and then an old t-shirt. Again, you can use any t-shirt, but I recommend using a white one if possible, just so you can see the color change. You want to know exactly when it turns from whatever original color it was to black. So white is probably the best color for that. Make sure it's 100% cotton.
Okay, the first step is to cut your t-shirt into small squares. 2 inches by 2 inches is a good size. So you don't have to be accurate, just cut something that looks about 2 by 2 into a square. The edges don't have to be even or anything like that. And remember, it is going to shrink a little bit after you heat it. So some people have done 1 by 1 and then it shrinks and they're so small they're not very effective. So the 2 by 2 size seems to be good.
Okay, step 2, take your tin, whatever you're using, and punch a small hole in the lid with your awl, your nail, whatever you're using. Then remove the lid. Take your pieces of cotton and put them inside the tin. It's best to do it in small batches. In this case I'm doing 3, but you could do up to maybe 6, I'd say, in a size like this. If you want to do more, you'll want to use a bigger tin. Replace the lid, and you're ready to put it on the stove.
Okay, so I'm out on my deck to do this. Trust me, you don't want to do this inside. It's going to produce a lot of smoke. But basically, just start your stove. Put it on the lowest setting. And then place the tin on top. In a second here, you're going to see a lot of smoke, so you probably don't want to get too close to it. It doesn't smell very good. There really is no set time for this. What you want to do is wait until the smoke stops, and then you can turn your stove off and let it cool down, and then you can pull the char cloth out. Okay, when it's cool, remove the tin from your stove and open it up. Might be a little hard to take off because the metal expands. And I'm doing this over the sink because it's going to be a little bit of a mess, but you should end up with something that looks like this. Really black, very light
piece of fabric, you can peel the layers away, and as you can see, they take a spark or a flame very well, and that's just going to smolder, and that's going to be perfect to put inside of your tinder pile. You just blow on it and your fire should start right up if you have the right tinder. If you're using a fire steel, you basically just need one spark. Just place the fire steel near the char cloth and pull back. You can see the embers are starting to spread right there. And blow on it a little bit. You can really get it going, and that's perfect to put in your tinder. Okay, so now my emergency fire starting kit includes a fire steel. This one's a Light My Fire Fire Scout. You don't have to use this one. I just like it because it's very light, compact, and very ergonomic. It also puts out a very bright spark, so I like that. And a small Ziploc bag with a few pieces of char cloth in it. This one has about 6 or 7 pieces, which is good enough for probably a week of survival if you had to start a fire without a lighter or matches. Hopefully I'll never have to use it. Okay, so in the end you've got a very lightweight, compact, and reliable fire starting system that you can use in an emergency situation if you have to. The nice thing about this is that you don't have to always rely on the char cloth. This fire steel will put out enough spark to start a fire with tinder that you can find around the forest floor. However, if it rains or snows or you just can't find anything that's really all that dry, you know you've got a nice backup with this char cloth. And that's a good peace of mind, especially if you're in a survival situation.